talk about the Super Nintendo version of Lion King, or is it Sega Genesis? I'm not sure, I played it on the PS4. But something about calling it PS4 Lion King just doesn't seem right, especially with these graphics. I don't think I've played this game since it first came out, and I'm happy to report, for the most part, it holds up pretty well. While this wasn't the first 16-bit game to have hand-drawn animation, it was one of the most ambitious. I know you can point to something like Aladdin and say that's even more ambitious because it's like one of the first ones doing it, but some of these graphics and bits of audio were really mind-blowing at the time. This is literally how the game opens.
It starts.
I know that doesn't look like much, but on the Super Nintendo, that was pretty mind-blowing. Though of course pixely, the animation does still hold up pretty well. The controls are very simple and quick to work out, with the game always helping you baby step style in order to get through the level. Again, for the most part, we'll come back to that. One of the cooler things about the game is that you start off as a lion cub but end as a full-grown lion. And you do end up fighting the same enemies, but in a different way. When you're a lion cub, you just have to hop on top of the hyenas. Kinda like in Mario Brothers. But when you're full-grown, you get to fight them with your claws. And it takes a little time to get their pattern down, but once you do, it is so satisfying taking these things out. And you don't just fight hyenas, you fight a whole bunch of different animals. Which again, you have to utilize a different type of combat, and it is really cool to see. It's cool that you don't just keep bouncing on top of enemies or rolling and roaring. The fighting does evolve as you get older. It might also sound weird, but the music is really good. And yeah, literally all they do, they just take the music from the movie and put it in there, but for a 16-bit version of a giant orchestral score, they capture it pretty well. I can hear any little tidbit and immediately recognize what part of the movie it's from. While I'll admit I'm a little biased, as when I was playing this game, I sadly realized I remembered a lot of where to go and what to do. Yeah, algebra. SNES Lion King is what stayed in my head, man.
Doug? You're not supposed to really memorize algebraic equations. You're just supposed to, solve them, find out what x represents and all that stuff. Yeah, you clearly didn't pay attention in maths class.
There are two things that legitimately drive me insane about this game. I guess technically they're small things, but they add up. One is the ending. Now I know this is just an SNES game, I'm not expecting like amazing graphics or anything, but even games back then could give you a satisfactory ending. Look at Super Castlevania, look at Legend of Zelda 3. This one I think blew its wad on the graphics in the opening because they literally just repeat the exact same image. Mufasa on Pride Rock. All they did was take little Simba out of it and say, that's now grown-up Simba. And to make things even more insulting, they have Mufasa's exact same audio.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
Yeah, this is a troll ending. The other thing I was building up to, there is a part in level 2, that I can never figure out. You're supposed to jump twice, and by God, I never know where I'm supposed to jump or what I'm supposed to avoid. These horrible childhood flashbacks just came back to me about this one moment I could never friggin' get down. And yes, it drove me a little batty. What am I hitting? What am I hitting? Ah, God! What? Rafiki can't even look at the game over. He's so disappointed.
And not even look
He
at
can't
you.
even look at it. But that brings us to maybe the best addition of the game, the rewind button. Or as I like to call it, cheating made easy. I think because the people who released this know that games don't really work this way anymore, where you're given a certain amount of lives, a certain amount of continues, and when you run out, you have to start the game all over again. They cleverly put in an option where if you die, you can just rewind it and do it again. And you guessed it, I exploited the out of this. Oh, wait. The miracle of cheating. That's still not gonna make it. Okay. Haha! I love my magic cheating button. I am so impatient now and so used to games that when you die, you're just sent back to a checkpoint that this was a digital lifesaver. Literally in the game. The nice thing is, if you are a purist, you can still play this game exactly like you did before, you just don't use the rewind button. But I hated this part so much in level 2 that I used that rewind button, and still, I have no idea how I got through it. It's the only part of the game that's aggravating it.
There you go.
But there was no, you saw there was no nest there. There was no nest. There's no magic bullet. No, all the conspiracies are wrong. It's just But everything else holds up pretty good. It still looks impressive given the graphics for the time. The sound clips from the movie are great. I love the music from the film. I love the level layout. It gets tougher as it goes along, but not impossible. It's just an all-around good game. Want to go back to your childhood and relive it again? Then pick this game up and complete the Circle of Life. But seriously, that second level. No! What am I hitting? What am I hitting? Oh, you bet you're continuing.